Update: am I the a-hole for thinking there's a hidden affair between my husband and best friend? Original post: I, 31 female, have a deep suspicion that there is something weird going on between my husband, 33 male, and my best friend Maria, 30 female. My husband feels I'm just seeing things and is mad at me that I do not trust him enough. Please tell me if what is going on is just in my head or if you also find the situation from last weekend suspicious. Maria and I have been best friends since college. She has always been very outgoing while I'm more of an introvert. Maria was always a bit promiscuous and loves drama. She had a lot of boyfriends and hookups in college. She is also very beautiful, and I always felt invisible when I was around her. I have weight issues. I always felt overshadowed by her. I was always very shy, and my husband was the first person I ever dated. Maria always teased me that I had only been with one guy in my life. As we have grown older, Maria is still to be in a long-term relationship. I feel that things have reversed now, and she keeps on telling me how lucky I am to have such an ambitious and reliable husband by my side. Around 6 months ago, my husband came to me and told me that he felt Maria was trying to flirt with him. He does not like Maria, but tolerates her for me. During one of the dinner parties, Maria was acting very flirty around my husband. She was just laughing extra loudly at all of his jokes, complimenting his fitness, and touching him on the shoulders and arms. My husband told me that he felt uncomfortable with her behavior and asked me to talk to Maria. I was pissed off and talked to Maria. She got angry at me and said that she had known my husband for over a decade and he is like a brother to her. She felt my husband was trying to destroy her friendship because he did not like her. I felt she was genuine and let it go. Maria soon joined our gym because she wanted to take yoga classes with me. However, she spent more time in the weights where my husband is. Again, my husband made comments about how she is always half naked in the gym and asked him to spot her. Maria complained that my husband is being rude and unhelpful to her. I again took her side and told my husband to be helpful and nice to her as she is my best friend. My husband said that he would make more of an effort. I slowly started seeing them getting more and more friendly and working out together. I wanted to be cool, but I felt jealous. So now to what happened last weekend. Maria invited a bunch of her friends for a birthday party at her apartment. There were 7 guests there, including my husband and I. Maria kept on pushing tequila shots on all of us. Eventually, most of us got drunk. Maria was sitting next to my husband and was being very flirty with him, but I could see my husband was not reciprocating, so didn't care. Maria insisted we stay back at her place, and my husband and I slept in the guest bedroom. The other 3 guests, who were her co-workers, 1 guy and 2 girls, crashed on the sofas in the living room. I was drunk, and the last thing that I remember was my husband bringing me to the guest bedroom. When I woke up in the middle of the night, I was alone in bed. I could hear some moaning noises from outside. I quickly started looking for my phone in the dark. In that process, I dropped something from the nightstand on the floor. The noises stopped, and I heard a door open and close outside. I quickly got up to see where my husband was. When I reached the hallway, I saw my husband just in his jeans with no shirt on. I asked him where he was, and he said he went to the bathroom and asked if I was okay. I said yes, and he came and slept next to me. He was sweaty. I asked him where his shirt was, and he said that the heater was too high and he felt hot. His t-shirt was on the chair next to the bed. I laid down, but I was barely able to sleep after that. I got up early and went into Maria's room, and she was sleeping alone naked. I told her we were taking off, and she got up to see us off. I kept this all to myself, and when we reached home and my husband went to take a shower, I immediately checked his phone. I could not find any messages between him and Maria. I spent the whole day thinking about it and finally confronted my husband regarding it at night. He was pretty angry at me and told me that he hates Maria, and the only reason he tolerates her is because of me. I told him about the moaning noises, and he said he also heard the same when he went to the restroom, but thought that they were coming from the living room. He is still angry at me that I accused him of something so horrible, and has told me that if I'm really that insecure, I should cut off my friendship with Maria. He also told me that he was never going to be in the same room as Maria ever again. I have no idea what to do. On the one hand, I know my husband would never cheat on me, but it's just impossible to get the doubts out of my head. I keep on picturing my husband and Maria together in her bed. Am I the a-hole to confront my husband and accuse him of cheating just because of what I saw and not having any real proof? How do I know what happened? If I confront Maria and accuse her, she is also going to be equally mad at me. I don't know her coworker friends well enough to trust what they say. I just feel stupid for trying to push for friendship between husband and Maria. Please help. Now for the comments before reading the update. Most of the comments I've read have gone in on Maria and discussed how she's not your friend. I agree. But I want to talk about the fact that you really need to be a better partner to your husband. He has expressed discomfort many times to you. You have flatly ignored his feelings and brushed them aside. You have even encouraged him to be close to someone who he doesn't even like. Stop it, OP. This is wrong. If someone was constantly flirting with and harassing you, how would you like it if your loving partner told you to get over it and play nice? Respect your husband's decisions to never go around Maria again. He said, "I will never be in the same room as her again." Let that be the law of the land. It's not your place to try to force him to be around her, then get mad when you can tell the vibes are off, which he explicitly told you over and over. Do better, OP. Your husband is never seeing her again, and I don't know why you would want to either. Some friends don't stay in your life forever. This is done. Move on from her to try to save your marriage. Agreed, OP is the a-hole, here in my opinion, because she treats her husband like trash in comparison to how she treats her friend. If my significant other disrespected me like that, I would be reconsidering the relationship way before this party incident happened. Cut this chick out and commit to your husband, OP, or don't be surprised when he leaves you for someone who listens to him. Maria isn't your best friend. I say that sincerely as someone else who had best friends my whole life who were similar to Maria. I had a best friend like this who was prettier, funnier, more outgoing, better with men, everything in college. My boyfriend also didn't like her. She also tried to flirt with him. I also worried about this, and I was wrong. My boyfriend didn't cheat on me, and it's unlikely your husband cheated on you with her if he dislikes her so much. Much more likely his story is correct that he was hot and took his shirt off. Drinking makes you feel hot on top of having a heater on and sleeping. Listen, as someone who has been through this, put some distance between yourself and Maria. You don't have to cut her out 100%, but maybe take her down to about 20%. But we've been through so much together. Yeah, I know. But what's even better than that is having friends who you aren't worried want to steal your husband. Judgment. Maria is an a-hole. Husband is not the a-hole. You are to be determined. Take this as a chance to apologize and move on. If you don't, you would be the a-hole. Thanks. Needless to say, I will increase our distance from Maria. I feel threatened by her, especially since I see her flirting with my husband, and I'm not okay. She does the same thing with most other men, and hence, I always chalk her behavior to this is how she is. I hope what you're saying is true about my husband. I feel the fact that I just can't get it out of my head, and it's been almost 5 days since the incident, makes me very anxious. I have apologized to my husband, and he says it's okay, but I can see he is still angry at me. Now for the updates. Update 1. A lot happened during the last month, and my mental health is at its lowest due to the betrayals. However, I think I now know what happened that night. I am sorry for the long post. So the day after my husband and I stayed at Maria's house for her birthday party, I was unable to shake the feeling that something happened between them. I am not proud, but I checked my husband's phone and all his messaging apps. I only found a brief chat between my husband and Maria on Facebook Messenger. Maria thanked my husband for coming to her birthday party and for such a great night. She sent him a photo of them hugging at the end of the night after I was asleep. My husband told Maria that I suspected that something happened between them and asked her to talk to me. Maria told him that she would talk to me. Maria called me the next day and told me that I was crazy and she would never think of doing such a thing to me. She sounded convincing, but I just couldn't shake the gut feeling that something happened. I told her why I suspected them, and she called me crazy and that my head was making up stuff that did not exist. I also mentioned that I saw her photo with my husband after I was asleep, and she should have kept her distance from him. I decided to distance myself from her as I no longer trusted her as a friend. We also changed the times we went to the gym so that we don't run into her. After a week or so, she messaged my husband on Facebook Messenger that they should tell me the whole truth. My husband kept on asking her what she was talking about, but she kept on telling him that she felt guilty. My husband came to me and told me that Maria is sending messages to him and he is not sure what she is inferring. He kept assuring me that nothing happened between them that night. I told him that I read their secret chats on Facebook Messenger. He has gaslighted me, calling me insecure, and that Maria was trying to play with my head. I finally decided to go to Maria's house and ask her what was going on. Maria initially kept on saying that she did not want to talk about it. However, finally she broke down and told me what happened. She told me that during the night of the birthday party, my husband kept on staring at her. After they realized I was too drunk, he took me to the bedroom and again went back to the living room. At this point, he was sitting next to Maria and kept on touching her legs playfully. Maria was also very drunk and they decided to call it a night in 30 minutes. Maria said that my husband followed her to her room and he started undressing her and they were intimate together. She told me that she was too drunk to consent to anything and she felt like he sexually assaulted her. She kept quiet to keep peace, but it was bugging her from the inside. I asked her if she was sure, as she was too drunk that night, and she said that although she was drunk, she remembers all the details. I confronted my husband, but he still kept on telling me that what he was telling was the truth, and Maria never liked him and was playing me for a fool. He was so angry at me that he left the house and is currently living in a hotel nearby. He keeps on calling me and asking me to trust him, but I don't know how I can trust him now. I never expected him to do such a thing. Maria has also been trying to talk to me and asking me to be there to support her. However, I do not know if I can look at either one of them. I am just going to try and cope with the situation and plan to go and live with my parents for a few days until my husband and I can agree about our future. I know you all thought I was crazy in the previous post, but I knew in my gut that something was wrong and never expected my life to suddenly come to this point. Final update. I initially did not know who to believe and thought my friend was telling the truth. My husband was upset that I did not trust him and left the house to stay at a hotel. After posting the update, I read the comments until 4 a.m. and cried uncontrollably. I let my insecurities and crazy trust Maria when it was clear that my husband was telling the truth. Sorry for the long post, you helped me so much and might have saved my life. For the few people who DM'd me vile messages, I am mentally unstable, but that does not mean I need to end my life. I was not always insecure. When I met my husband a decade ago, we were both overweight. He never cared about my weight as long as I was happy. A year before we married, I had an idea where we lose weight before our wedding date. He took his fitness seriously and lost 40 pounds that year, while I was not disciplined and did not lose any. Our wedding photo looks like Ryan Reynolds is marrying Princess Fiona from Shrek. This made me insecure about my weight. It did not help that my mom and Maria kept on telling me that I needed to lose weight, or else he would leave me for someone more beautiful. The question in my mind was not if he would leave me, but when. He knows my struggles and has always been supportive and loving towards me. I went to meet him in the morning and I have never seen him so broken. I started apologizing and crying and he was trying to calm me down for almost an hour. I told him I trusted him completely and apologized that I did not see it sooner. He just looked stone-faced. He said he knew I would trust him eventually, but he is worried about Maria. He kept checking his social media because he was scared that she might post about it. He said he could not imagine what his parents, friends, and coworkers would think if they saw the accusations. He told me that we need to talk to Maria to not spread such lies. I told him in detail what Maria told me, and he told me what happened that night. He said that I fell asleep on his lap around 1:30 a.m. He woke me up and took me to the bedroom. He came out to say goodbye to everyone, but the party was already dying. My husband was not drunk. He generally never drinks more than 1 to 2 drinks ever. But Maria and her friends were very drunk. Maria wanted to take some final pictures and went to everyone and made silly poses. That was the photo she sent to my husband. She asked my husband if he could come with her to the bedroom to get some blankets and pillows for others. My husband told her he needed to check on me, and the other male co-worker volunteered to go with her and get stuff. My husband then came to the room and slept. He woke up 2 hours later and went to the restroom. He confirmed that he heard the moaning noises, but they had stopped when he came out of the restroom. We decided to talk to Maria, and I invited her to our house on Saturday evening. She was shocked to see my husband with me in the house. My husband told her that she knew what she was saying was wrong, and he still had the messages where she thanked him the next day. Maria got defensive and started telling me that she blacked out that night, but later slowly started to put together what happened that night since she was naked when she woke up. She asked me why she would sleep naked without locking the room door when her coworkers were in the next room. She said that she remembers my husband coming to her room and having sex with her, while she was extremely drunk. My husband told Maria that none of this happened, and she kept on insisting that she clearly remembered him naked and having sex with her. He told her if that was true, tell me how big his penis was. She was taken aback and shouted to him just because it was huge does not mean that I enjoyed the sex, and that she was extremely drunk. I asked Maria if she was sure, and she said that she would never forget it. The thing is, my husband is noticeably smaller than average in that area, and I'm not complaining as he always gets the job done, but I knew Maria was full of shit. A screaming match began between me and Maria, and I told her that she was full of shit and to get out of my house. I told her that if she accused my husband, I would stand by him and tell everyone I was in the next room, and none of this happened. Maria was crying at this moment and told me to enjoy my life with a rapist. I hugged my husband, but he looked void of any emotions. He told me not to freak out, but he had planned to visit his parents' house to reset his head before I talked to him. I wanted to be with him, but he insisted he wanted to be alone for a week and will be back on Saturday. He also called my mom to come to our house so I am not alone. We told her what happened, and she was very angry at me. I have been talking to him all week on the phone, and he plans to return tomorrow. I feel lucky and undeserving of such a good husband and cannot believe I was so close to losing him. I have not heard from Maria, but at this point our friendship is over. Again, thanks to everyone who sent well-meaning messages to me all through the week. I truly appreciate it. I have signed up for therapy this week and hopefully will be able to be a better wife to my husband forever. Story 2. Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my son that if he's uncomfortable about his sister not wearing a bra, then he should cover up too? Original post. My 33 male daughter, 16 female, got into an argument with her brother, 15 male, because she sometimes doesn't wear bras around the house. She's still covered up, but she just wears t-shirts instead. She said that wearing bras was painful and it makes her uncomfortable, so I didn't mind it. However, my son recently started expressing his discomfort and saying that it makes him uncomfortable and she should start wearing bras again. My daughter heard this and got upset and saying that she wasn't bothering anyone. He said that he was bothered by it and that she should cover up. I told her that if he's uncomfortable, then maybe she can just put on a bra when she leaves her room. She got upset and told me that it's unfair that she has to wear a bra when her brother doesn't have to cover his man boobs. He got upset at this and accused her of making fun of him. I told him that she wasn't making fun of him and told him that it was a fair statement. I told him that if she's also uncomfortable, then he should start wearing a t-shirt when he leaves his room. He started crying and accused me of calling him fat, which confused me as those words never came out of my mouth. I felt bad and wanted to let my son know that he misinterpreted what I meant, but when I went to talk to him, he just told me to leave him alone and wouldn't stop crying, so I decided to give him some space. My wife told me that I know how sensitive our son could be about his weight, and I should have been nicer about it. This made me feel extremely bad, and I tried to apologize to him again, but he just ignored me and wouldn't even speak or look at me. I thought I was just being fair, but I don't know. Now for the update. Update. You guys were right about her bra size being too small. My wife got her a bigger bra size and got some adjustable straps as well because she said that the straps were also causing her pain. She, however, still doesn't wear a bra when she's home, and I apologize for suggesting she do so. Other than that, she's just been her same old self. However, my son has not. This Tuesday, my son started therapy to hopefully help him deal with his body image and his sensitivity to certain topics. He has apologized to his sister, 16 female, but has still been withdrawn from me and his sister, but mostly me. My son spends most of his time in his room and only engages in conversation with his mom and occasionally with his sister. Despite my attempts to apologize to him and to let him know my intentions weren't meant to harm him, he still barely talks to me, and the rare time that he does, he doesn't sound enthusiastic at all. Yesterday, I caught him crying in his room, which was about 2 hours after his second therapy session, and I tried to talk to him, but he just asked me to get his mom instead. When I talked to my wife about it, she told me that her son told her that he'd prefer that she didn't tell me and that she'll honor his wishes. I've never been so confused in my life. I feel like my son hates me now and I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just planning on trying to talk to his therapist next Tuesday because my wife really isn't any help. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling the nursing home staff that I won't be back to visit my mom ever again? The staff at the state-funded nursing home in question still forgets after 5 years that it's my mother-in-law and not my mom that is a resident there, and she is not my mother-in-law anymore as I, 53 male, just had to deal with the loss of my wife, 50 female of 23 years, to cancer. Before she got sick, she insisted that we go visit her mom every other week because her 2 brothers, 45 male and 41 male, say their wives would rather spend their weekends doing family time with their own families. Her mom has had long-term chronic health issues that I don't want to get into. They caused her ex to file for divorce. However, during healthier times, I still will never forget how she treated me and when my wife and I started seeing each other. She spent the first night we met pearl clutching about the fact that I did not want to talk about my family because my dad worked all the time, my mom was a control freak, I cut contact with at 19, and my sister was diagnosed with BPD and tried to publicly slander me to coworkers when I suggested she get help. That got us off on the wrong foot, to say the least. She never dropped the performative astonishment over the fact that I didn't grow up with many close relationships. She thinks that you can't be a great partner if you don't come from a strong parental bond. I was tired of comments like, "But that's your mom, don't you love her?" When 2020 hit and my job went fully remote, she had the audacity to say, "So your company is not one where people have a place to go to work?" I put up with her because I valued my wife's happiness. I'm now trying to rebuild my life in the years since she's passed. My mother-in-law is now complaining that the staff are sarcastic, etc., which is the same thing she said about me. Again, the staff saw us every other week and still forget, despite being told many times that she's not my mom, but my wife's mom. And no, my late wife wanted me to go see her mom because I refused to use money my son could inherit to pay for a visiting service period. So I go and one of the staff starts ranting about how it's rude to stop by unannounced, despite it being visiting hours. She then says to be mindful, I should set up a time at least a few days in advance to visit and to not show up early or late. She was so rude, acting like her booking me a visit with my mother-in-law was doing me a favor and she revoked it if I didn't bow down to her. I went to see my mother-in-law. She just fills the time with complaints about how abandonment and once again implies I'm lesser for not growing up with parental attachments. I realized I had enough and was angry enough that I stormed out. The staff member started rather abrasively asking if I was going to visit at the scheduled time next month, so I told her I was done, that as she and the other people underneath her always forget, she's not my mom but my late wife's, and she'll never see me here again. She backtracked and apologized for being short with me and asked if I was sure, and I said yes, and she said okay and told me best of luck. Am I the a-hole? That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.